Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Maddie and I love yapping about books. So that's what we do on this channel. Make sure to subscribe for endless yapping. Today's video, I'm going to show you what is on my August TBR. And instead of doing the TBR jar picks my August reads, I'm just going to tell you what I'm picking. But no, for real, every time I do one of those TBR jar videos, as much fun as they are, I never actually read a single book that I pick. So I'm switching things up. I'm going back to the original TBR videos. There's still a pretty high chance that I tell you I'm going to read these books and I still don't read them because I am such a mood reader. Let's get into it. The first book on my August TBR, and honestly the only book I'm confident that I will read, is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is their newest release. It looks like the ultimate summer romance book. I love Christina Lauren. I've rated all of their books 5 stars. I think I've only read 2, but I mean, that counts for something, right? Christina and Lauren are 2 different people, if you didn't know. I did not know that originally, but now I know. I am in the mood to read this, and the second I finish the book I'm currently reading, I'm picking this one up next. It sounds like fake dating. Christina and Lauren are the queens of a quirky, sexy, funny summer romance, and I'm here for it. I hope I love this as much as I loved The Unhoneymooners. Was The Unhoneymooners a literary masterpiece? No. Did I love it all the same? Yes. So that's what I'm hoping from this book, is to have that feeling again of just being giddy and happy and yeah. Okay, I'm the worst booktuber alive. And I saw that the Redheads podcast, this is the book they're currently reading for July, so that means they're going to talk about it the first week of August. And if you don't know about that podcast, it's literally Jackie from The Morning Toast and her family members. I know Margot is also part of it, and I love listening to their episodes when I've read the book that they're talking about, because what they do is they pick a book at the beginning of the month, they all read it, and then at the beginning of the next month they talk about it. And sometimes if I don't know what I want to read next, I'll go through their old episodes because I love hearing other people's thoughts about books, and I'll read the book and then I'll listen to the episode. So I'm excited to see what they think of this one in August, and you guys should go check out their podcast. Not sponsored. Why would it be? I try to be a girl that can just have her hair down and in her face, but I physically can't. 2 minutes of my hair in my face and I'm done. So headband it is. Next book that is on my August TBR is How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong, and I have heard mixed reviews about this book. This is Yulin's debut novel, and there's actually a little blurb on the front by Emily Henry that says, "I'll read anything she writes, an absolute star." Now, would I listen to people on the internet's opinions about this book, or Emily Henry's opinion? Emily Henry's opinion. So I'm gonna give it a chance, even though multiple people have DNF'd it or said don't bother. I am going to bother. I'm going to read this book because why listen to other people's opinions? Decide for yourself. Oh, and it's about an author. I was just saying in my last video that I love when authors write books about authors. Sounds like a second chance romance, and it says their history is messy, their attraction is undeniable, and soon they're both in too deep. This wasn't meant to be a love story, but aren't the best endings the ones you never saw coming? Yes. Okay, I literally gave you nothing with that. Basically, I think the main character, Helen, has to work with her ex, Grant, who's the screenwriter on her book that is becoming a film. Sounds interesting enough. Let's read it. Next we have, I totally thought this was Conversations with Friends. It's Beautiful World, Where Are You by by Sally Rooney. And I've been saying I'm gonna read this for months and I simply don't. It sounds like a good coming of age book. I really liked Normal People by Sally Rooney. I gave it 4 stars, and then honestly with the adaptation of the TV show coming out around the same time I read it, it seemed like a 5-star read to me because I love the TV show that much, even though the book was just 4 stars for me. So I'm excited to see what I think of this book by Sally Rooney. I've never read another book by Sally Rooney. It says Alice, a novelist, meets Felix, who works in a warehouse, and asks if he'd like to travel to Rome with her. In Dublin, her best friend Eileen is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man she has known since childhood. Alex, Felix, Eileen, and Simon are still young, but life is catching up with them. They desire each other, they delude each other, they worry about sex and friendship in the times they live in. Will they find a way to believe in a beautiful world? I hope so. I hope so. If you haven't read a Sally Rooney book, her writing is so unique, and I will say you are either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. It's so basic, but she has the most beautiful quotes. I remember so many of the quotes from normal people. I was like, she's a genius. How did you come up with that? But it's also, I would say, I don't know if the storylines in her books are always super fast-paced, but her writing makes it seem fast-paced. All of a sudden you're like 10 chapters into it and you're like, how'd that happen? So, but again, I've only read one book by her, so who are you to listen to my opinions? Next we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and I'm so excited to read this. I read The Do-Over by Lynn and I gave it 4 stars, and this is everybody's favorite Lynn Painter novel, so I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. It's like neighbors to lovers or something like that. Is that even a trope? I just made that up. You guys know what this book is about, but if you don't, basically this girl, wow, I'm so good at explaining things. Basically the main character wants to make this boy jealous, so she pretends she's dating her neighbor or something. So it's fake dating, and then things happen from there. We can only assume. Okay, after actually reading that, I don't even know if that's exactly what happens, but close enough. Okay, next we have, if you guys can't pick up on a theme here, we have a lot of summer romances because I haven't made a dent in any of my summer romances. I've been in a thriller mood this summer, so now I need to read them before it starts to get really cold here in Amsterdam because winter is approaching. We have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is the only book by Carly Fortune I haven't read, and this is everybody's least favorite, but again, I'm gonna figure out for myself. I feel like even if it is my least favorite of hers, the writing is still gonna be amazing. I do an awful job at explaining a lot of these books, but if you're watching this, I feel like you guys know what these books are about. You know, if you're chronically online like I am, you guys gotta know what these books are about. And if you don't, I mean, I don't want to give too much away. I know people hate spoilers, or some people don't even like to read the summary. They just like to go into it blind. So, Meet Me at the Lake is about a summer romance at the lake. Okay, next, this is the most important book in this TBR. And actually, I am pretty confident that I'm going to read this one as well. And that is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. This is the final installment of Magnolia and BJ's story. And I've been putting it off for so long because I know it's going to cause me such great pain. But as I was coming up with this TBR, I realized I haven't had a 5-star read in a long time. And this has potential to be a 5-star read because every other book I've read by Jessa Hastings in this series has been 5 stars. And the last time I had a 5-star read, I was looking, besides the thriller I just read, what's it called? That's Not My Name, I gave 5 stars to. But that's different because it's a thriller. Like, I'm never gonna go back and read that thriller because I already know the twist and I know what happens. But yes, it was a 5-star read to me. But before that, the last book I gave 5 stars was If Only I Had Told Her. And then I went back and I changed it. It was not 5 stars. It was more like 4.5 stars. And then before that, the last true 5-star read was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Love that book. Still 5 stars in my heart. And then Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, which are 2 very different books, but those are the last books that made me feel something deeply. So I'm looking for that feeling again. I'm craving that feeling. It's just been a mediocre reading year, and I need Magnolia to bring me out of that. Look at this chunker. What is going on here? How many pages is this? Over 700. I'm doing it, okay? I need this. I need a 5-star read. So we're definitely reading this one. The rest of the books are on my Kindle or I'm borrowing from the Libby app. If you guys don't have a library card, go get one. Okay, so a book I just got delivered today from the Libby app is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I don't think I've read a Kristen Hanna book before, and this is criminal that I'm reading this Kristen Hanna book before The Nightingale because that has been on my physical TBR for so long. But the library delivered it and I have to read it. This is again, I know nothing about this really other than it's a heartwarming story. It's really sad. I think it follows two friends over the course of a decade or so, maybe longer. And I feel like this book has had a resurgence. And this book is pretty old because it actually has a TV adaptation out now on Netflix, and it has been out for a few years now. But I heard Destiny talk about it recently, and she said she never talks about this book, but it's one of her favorite books of all times. And then I saw that Sarah Crawley read it and loved it as well. This is another book that I want to read this month because it has potential to be 5 stars. Then another book that I just got from the library is called The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. It's a thriller, and like I said earlier, I have been loving thrillers this summer, which is so weird. I feel like you shouldn't read thrillers in the summer, but I'm not like other girls. And this one is actually perfect for the summer because it's a beachy thriller. It takes place in the Outer Banks, and that sounds good enough to me. Boom, let's read it. This is the summary. 10 years ago, a school trip turned deadly with only 9 survivors. They reunite in the present at a beach house in the Outer Banks to commemorate what just happened, the anniversary of the accident. Their relationships are filled with tension and distrust, as all have secrets about the fateful trip. Now only 7 survivors are alive. That sounds good. I know I just didn't dance to a thriller summary where it says 2 people died. What is wrong with me? Okay guys, those are the 8 books I hope to read in August. Comment down below which books of these you rated 5 stars, because I am looking for a 5-star read. If you can't tell, I'm desperate to have a 5-star read this month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, even though I felt like it sucked, be sure to like and subscribe down below. Seriously, it makes me so happy when I see new subscribers. I check like 10 times a day on my YouTube studio apps. Also, follow me on my TikTok and my Bookstagram, which will be linked down below. I'm constantly posting on both of those apps because like I said, I love yapping about books, and I love watching other people yap about books. So let's follow each other, and I'll see you guys for my next video.